Alright, what's going on YouTube? This your boy EJ coming to you once again. This time I'm bringing you 5 tips for camping, especially if you are a newbie. I'm going to give you 5 tips that's going to help you make your first camping trip or your second camping trip more enjoyable than it was the first time. If you went and kind of won the success and you like, man, what do I need to really enjoy this camping experience, you know, to get out here and enjoy nature and stuff like that. You know, a lot of people forget stuff and they make simple mistakes, or they just don't know because they haven't been camping before and it's their first time and they kind of nervous trying to figure out what are they going to bring to the campground, how to find a campground and all that kind of stuff like that. So we're here, we're going to drop you guys a few tips that's going to help. And stay along with the video because I'm going to have a bonus tip that's going to come at the end that's also going to help you when it comes down to this whole campground thing. And I brought me some notes today because I didn't really want to wing it, so brought a few notes for you guys. You know, the first tip that we're going to have is going to be finding the right spot to go to. This right here is very important because most of you, especially who haven't been camping before, you need to find a campground that's going to provide the activities that you and your kids, if you bring in kids, want to do. So in other words, you don't want to go too primitive, and then you may not want to go too glampy at the same time, you know, and have to spend a lot of money for your first camping trip. You may want to be somewhere in the middle. So always check out the campground for the amenities to see if that campground provide the things that you need for your camping experience, because you definitely want to go and really enjoy the campground, you know. So first tip, always look for the amenities at the campground that you need that's going to make your camping trip a success. Point number 2, bring the right equipment. This is very important because I see people come out, they don't have their firewood, they don't have a lighter or match, you know, they bring a tent but they don't have a tent liner, they don't have a ground sheet to put on the ground first before they put their tent down. They put their tent straight down on the ground and then a rock or a stick or something stick through their tent, and now their tent is torn or whatever. This is the purpose of that ground sheet or that tarp that we always put on the ground. So if you ever see a camper put down that sheet on the ground first and then set their tent on the top of it, that's the reason why we do that, because that tarp is going to actually protect the tent. Some tents you can actually buy the ground sheet, which that's what they're going to call it. They're going to call it the ground sheet, and it's going to come with the tent, you know, or you can buy it as an accessory with the tent, and it'll be perfectly sized for that tent. You can get creative with this and use other things, but I'm going to leave that up to your discretion. But you can get creative, but pretty cheap. Go to Walmart, you can get you a tarp. I suggest get the gray one because it's more heavy duty than the blue one, or get the black one. I think it's even more heavy duty than the gray, and that way it's kind of like a one-time thing. You just buy it. It may not be the exact size of your tent because it's not a custom one, but either way it goes, it should be able to fit up on your tent, and you just fold up the ends and tuck it up under the tent itself, and then just finish staking your tent out and you're good. Tip number 2. This is a big one. Don't forget your bug spray. Yeah, you need bug spray when you go tent camping or any kind of camping. Even if you're in an RV, you're going to need bug spray to keep the bugs down. And also, along with that bug spray, you might want to wear you some long sleeves, because they actually have long sleeves for hot weather too. So you can wear you some long sleeves to help prevent the bugs and stuff like that. And the other thing, you know, you can get your bug spray, but they also got those bracelets and stuff like that that you can get, the citronella stuff that you can get as well, just in case you don't want to use actual bug spray on yourself. And of course, your campfire will also help keep the bugs down as well. So think about that thing. Think about that stuff right there. You know, bug spray, citronella bracelets, necklace, or whatever like that to help keep the bugs down at your campsite. You know, that's another tip number 3 that I want to give you, because I see people do. They come there, they don't bring bug spray, and then you see them fanning and swatting all day while they at the campground and stuff like that. Sorry, I'm adjusting my camera a little bit. Yeah, so definitely bring you some bug spray. Tip number 4, and I think we kind of covered this a little bit, but tip number 4 is going to be how you get your fire started, and I'm going to include how you get your fire started along with how you're going to cook your food. So are you cooking on wood? Are you going to cook on charcoal or whatever? Either way, either method that you're using, or if you got a gas grill, you're probably going to need a way to get it started. So make sure you bring you some matches or a lighter or even both, so that you'll have something to actually start your fire. And matches and lighters is one of the number one things that people forget. And the tent tarp, that's the ground sheet that you lay on the ground before you put your tent out. Those are some of the 2 top things I see people forgetting, especially as a newbie when they come to the campground. Now, while other people at the campground is probably going to have matches and lighters, most time people are not going to give you a ground sheet or a tarp to put under your tent. That's probably not going to happen at the campground. They'll probably have the matches and the lighter, but they're not going to give you their sheet. So make sure you bring you a ground sheet or a tarp to put under your tent. But tip number 4 is going to be, make sure you have your cigarette lighter or matches to start your fire, regardless of whether it is on the wood, charcoal, or gas grill. Just make sure you have that way of getting that fire started. Tip number 5. This shouldn't be a big one. I probably could have put this at number 1, but tip number 5 is going to be another obvious one, and that's going to be silverware, napkins, cups. People forget this stuff all the time. They get there, honey, I don't have no silverware. Oh, I don't have nothing so I can cook the hot dogs or the s'mores over the fire. I forgot the little wood stick things, you know what I'm saying? And then you see them on the ground getting tree limbs and bushes and stuff to stick their hot dogs or whatever, so that they can heat them up and cook them and everything, because they forgot the little stick deal. Because most time, once it get dark, you're not going to want to leave the campground to go to Walmart or Dollar General or anything to buy these type of things. You're going to be pretty much out until the next day, when you probably going to feel more comfortable because it's going to be light outside or whatever like that. And it's probably going to be a little more safer to leave your campground in the daytime than it is at night. So make sure your silverware, cups, and things like that, you do have them when you reach the campground, so that you won't be without a way to eat your food once you cook it, or be without a way to even cook the food. So make sure you got that essential especially with you, so that you can eat the food once you cook it or whatever like that. And we're not going to even want to have to mention, don't forget to bring your food. Don't forget to put ice in your ice chest. If you didn't freeze your stuff, make sure you got ice in your ice chest to help keep your stuff cold, you know what I'm saying, so your food won't go bad while you're out there camping. And for the bonus tip, because I'm not going to leave you hanging on the bonus tip, I always got to give you a bonus tip. The bonus tip is going to be animals. In general, in the daytime, you're probably not going to see any animals at your campsite, and you might be thinking, oh man, there's no animals here, everything is cool, until the sun go down. When the sun go down, that's tend to be when most animals, snakes or whatever like that, is going to pop out on you, bears and stuff like that. So it's very important to keep your campsite clean once you get done with everything. And if you're new, I advise eating and everything while it's still daylight, so that at nighttime you can make sure that you have totally cleaned up your campsite, so that you won't be tracking raccoons and bears and squirrels, mice or whatever to your particular campsite area versus somebody else's, you know what I'm saying? So you always want to make sure your campsite is clean. When you first get there, make sure it's clean. Once you get done cooking, make sure it's clean. I'm talking about everything. You cook breakfast, make sure it's clean after you cook breakfast. You cook lunch, make sure it's clean after you cook lunch. After dinner, make sure it's clean, because you don't want to attract animals to your campsite and end up with a bad encounter with some kind of a animal or snake, or like I said, a raccoon or a bear or anything like that. Always keep your campsite clean. And if you're in a car or a truck, leave your food and stuff in the car or truck. Don't put the food in your tent. Not even a snack. Don't put anything, any type of food related item in your tent. And I would almost go to the point of saying, don't even put like your toothpaste and stuff like that, mouthwash and things like that. Don't put that stuff in your tent as well. Leave all of that stuff in your vehicle, because usually you're at a campsite, your vehicle is going to be right there. Now, if you walk to a campsite, and let's say your campsite is a mile or 2 miles or more, let's say 2 miles or more from your car, you had to hike into your campsite. At that point, you might want to take stuff with you and do the bear bag or whatever, something that you can throw the rope up in the tree and pull it up in the tree and keep it up high away from your campsite. But either way it go, food, mouthwash, cologne, perfume, whatever, you don't want to leave that in your tent. I wouldn't leave nothing in my tent no more than maybe some water or and bug spray, you know, and your clothes, shoes and stuff like that. The shoes that you walk around outside, I would actually get a plastic tote or whatever, or a plastic bag, and leave that stuff outside your tent too. Don't bring that in, because you also want to watch out for ticks and stuff like that. You don't want to contaminate your tent area. You never want to walk inside the tent with your shoes and stuff on. You always want to leave that stuff outside your tent, kind of like how Asians do in their homes. They don't wear their shoes on the inside. Well, you want to do the same thing with your tent. Don't bring that stuff on the inside, because you want to lessen the chances of any type of animal wanting to come inside of your tent for any reason, you know. So that's going to be our 5 tips for today. You know, please hit the like, share, and subscribe if you like this video. Also, I'm working on a camping trip, so I got a camping trip to go along with this tips and tricks video. So I might do that this week. I might just go ahead and go camping this weekend, and so I can demonstrate the tips and tricks and stuff like that. So yeah, please hit the like, share, and subscribe to this video, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.